Hi, my name is Leah, and I just want to take a moment to share with you my testimony at Rachel's Vineyard. Things started for me when I was about 19 years old. I got pregnant with a man that I met through a treatment center. It was extremely dysfunctional and unhealthy. And I gave birth to a boy named Joshua. Things went really downhill and were really difficult for me. I ended up being a single mother before he was 1 year old. Shortly after I separated with my ex, I realized I was pregnant again. At that point, I realized that I was going to be alone for a whole pregnancy and this child's life if I decided to go through with the pregnancy. So at that time, through a lot of coaching with family and friends, I decided I was going to have an abortion. It seemed like a clear-cut decision at the time, but I was completely unaware of what was going to happen from that point forward. I booked an appointment for my abortion, and I felt completely numb at that point. After going through the abortion, I was unaware of what was going to happen to me physically, the physical pain during the process, and also after the emotional pain. I refused at that time to link any of the negative circumstance that happened in my life to the abortion. I tried to completely numb myself to that. I started getting heavily involved in a promiscuous nature, and I had several partners trying to receive acceptance and love, and I think a part of me was trying to have that connection with the baby and maybe have a baby again. I really suffered with self-worth and judgment to myself, and I decided to get help. After a couple years, I started realizing that I had this empty hole inside and I couldn't fill it with anything as much as I tried. So I started going through, I guess, like a really deep depression where I was longing for the presence of my baby. And I just had this overwhelming feeling of loneliness and fear, and at the same time trying to raise my son. So at that point, I booked an appointment at the Crisis Pregnancy Center and was told about the retreat at Rachel's Vineyard. I was very curious, somewhat open-minded. I wanted to know if there was actually hope for me. So once I went on the retreat, I was amazed when I walked in, and the warm smiles and just the very presence of peace and love. There was no condemnation and no judgment, and I was just blown away by the fact that other people felt the same way I did, and that, you know, everybody understood what it was like to have a loss of a baby. I was introduced to a real relationship with God at that point, and experienced the very presence of God in such a powerful way on that retreat. I experienced Jesus Christ and His healing power, and I also experienced the presence of my baby that is now in heaven, being raised by the most amazing Father. So I have received an overwhelming amount of healing. I have learned to love myself through the grace of Jesus Christ, who is really truly a redeeming God, and who longs to forgive us and has joy in forgiving us. So I just really want to leave with you an encouragement that God is a loving God, and that there is encouragement, and there is women out there that have the same struggles. So if you have had any of the same experiences, or maybe some that are personal to yourself, I just encourage you to book an appointment at the Crisis Pregnancy Center and consider going on a retreat on Rachel's Vineyard. So may God bless you and keep you until then.